So if you clicked on this video, you're probably thinking one of three things. What are nail wraps? Who still uses nail wraps? Or you're showing your age and it's, oh, I remember nail wraps. So why do we use nail wraps today? So let's just be real for a second. Nail wraps are definitely not something that's hot, popping, and trending. Let's just start by saying that. However, I find that as a professional licensed nail technician or just somebody that is into nails, you should be knowledgeable about all the different types of services and procedures and techniques that you can in this industry. And just because you don't have clients DMing you, asking you how much is a silk wrap, doesn't mean that you shouldn't be able to know how to use nail wraps. So in this video, I'm gonna show you 3 different ways that you could be using nail wraps currently, today. Yes, you can still use nail wraps today. So let's get into nail wraps, what they are, how we can use them, and the tutorial. All that right now. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, what's up? Do not forget to hit the like and the subscribe button, and do not forget to hit that notification bell so you can be notified when I post new videos every week. My name is Keisha. I'm a licensed nail technician for more than 25 years. I am an entrepreneur of my own nail business. I'm a teacher of nail technology program. I am a content creator, I am a YouTuber, I'm all these things. And if you are somebody new or old that is currently doing nails, or maybe you just are a nail enthusiast, or you just like watching this type of nail content, then this is gonna be the place for you to be. Every single week when I post this type of content, tips, tricks, tutorials, and all that, everything you need for your business or for your interests. So don't forget to hit that subscribe button. So the first thing is, you're probably thinking, why do we still need to know nail wraps? Who uses nail wraps? Why do we even care about this old, outdated, used to be trending technique? One, it's on your state board exam, so you need to know it. If you are licensed and you already went through that drama, if you are in school currently or thinking about attending school, just know that you definitely need to know what nail wraps are and how to perform them, because it is on your state board exam and that is non-negotiable. So you are forcefully learning how to do nail wraps. And a lot of the times in class, my students ask me, Miss Keisha, oh my goodness, why do we need to learn this? I'm never gonna do this. Why is this on state board? Why don't they change it? Why don't they get rid of it? And the summary of that answer is, state board is testing your basic knowledge of stuff. If you can't do a manicure, then you don't need to be a nail tech. If you can't sculpt the nail correctly, then maybe you shouldn't be a nail tech. If you can't do an old school procedure like a nail wrap, which is super easy, then you shouldn't be a nail tech. If you can't polish, then you shouldn't be a nail tech. These are the basic foundations. They're not trying to show, they don't care about your nail art skills. They care about your knowledge when it comes to the basic foundations of nails. These are all the things before there was acrylic, before there was gel, before any of those services, there was nail wraps. So you need to learn how to do that in order to become a licensed nail technician. Another magnificent idea, which is why I bring you this video and why I make my students do this in school, is because it is a fantastic option for natural nail repairs. If you have clients that need some type of repair in a natural nail, which I'm going to show you later on in the video, it is excellent, and I just love to have it on hand for this reason. So that's one of the main reasons why I like to still kind of throw this into the lesson plan when I'm talking about nail wraps with my girls, because all these things that could go wrong with the natural nail, it just might work. Not everybody likes acrylic. Acrylic repairs on natural nails, you know, it can tend to look a little thick. No matter how thin you do that bead or that layer, if you do a thin layer of gel, that might work, but you can still maybe tell the difference. And then also too, it might not soak off. It might not blend in that well on your client's fingers. They might be allergic to gel and acrylic. Ladies, you have to open up your mind to the possibilities of things that could go wrong and how to troubleshoot them. So no, the more you know how to do and you know how to rectify and troubleshoot, the better off you're going to be and the better technician you're going to be for your clients. So using nail wraps for repairs over gel or acrylic is just another great, fantastic idea. And lastly, a short extension. Yes, you can use that little thin fabric as a extension. This is something that I also do in class with the girls. And it always, honestly, at the end of this lesson, it's one of my favorite lessons in school because they're amazed at what nail wraps can do. Most people that come to school have never heard of nail wraps, fabric wraps, silk. They don't know anything about nail wraps, the procedures, the supplies, nothing. I show them what they have to do for state board. They walk out just a little bit more knowledgeable. So I love doing short little extensions, which is another thing I'm going to show you later on in the video when it comes to natural nail repairs using nail wraps. So what exactly are nail wraps? Nail wraps are thin pieces of fabric, usually fiberglass, silk, or linen, that are applied over the natural nail and sealed with resin or glue. Once hardened, they create a lightweight, natural-looking overlay. So you're gonna have a couple different types of nail wraps. So the first nail wrap to ever be created was linen. Linen is very thick. Think exactly like linen pants, how you would if you would have cut a little piece from a pair of linen pants you have. Imagine that on top of your nail. So it was very thick. It was very opaque. You had to put polish over it because you saw the material underneath the nail and everything. And that was the very first one to ever be created. So it's the thickest and the strongest out of the three main nail wraps. Then we have silk. So silk wrap came out after that, and basically it's soft, it's smooth, it is a little, you can see it a little bit when you apply it, but it's not as bad. So I don't have linen to show because it's very outdated, super outdated. Like when I took my state board, I'm that old, I had to do silk, linen, and fiberglass. They got rid of linen since, so you guys should be happy about that. I had to do all three. So silk wrap looks something like this. It's gonna be very hard to see it on camera. I always label it. I always, if you're watching this and you're in nail school, always label your wrap so you know which one is which. Silk is very hard to tell from the other one. So this is silk. It has a little bit of like a loose weave, but you can kind of see the paper. So this is not pre-cut. Again, I have this because for state board, you cannot have it pre-cut, but you can find it already cut for you. I honestly like to pre-cut it. I feel like the pre-cut ones don't always work, and then you end up using more sizes over the other one, and then you have to rebuy it, and it's just easy to buy it. It comes in a strip like this with the adhesive backing, and this is what we have for our silk wrap. Lastly, we have fiberglass. Fiberglass is the most newest wrap coming out, and when I say new, I mean it's still kind of a couple decades old, but it has a very thin weave. It's very lightweight, it's very transparent, it's a little stronger, and it has it's a little bit more durable than the silk. So you can see the difference with the fiberglass, and when I do the demo on camera, I'll show you the technique behind it and how you can see the different materials, but you can see that the fiberglass, probably can't even see that. It's very hard to see that. But the fiberglass is a little bit of a different weave. It's a little bit more loose. And this meaning that when it goes onto the nail and once we add that resin, it kind of dissolves and disappears. So fiberglass you can definitely use. You can wear it natural. You won't really see it. You still see it maybe about 10%, but it's a lot better. So over time, nail wraps did develop. And even, fun fact, before linen, they used to use paper back in the day. So if you ever watched that nail history video that I ever made, they used to call them Juliet wraps. And they used to literally take paper and put it on the nail. That was the very first wrap ever. And then they decided to come out with fabric wraps. So little fun fact for you in history about what exactly nail wraps are. And just another fun fact that if you wanted to ever practice nail wraps, what we used to do online when I used to teach class during COVID, when the girls would run out of materials and there was no supplies to get to, or they couldn't get it from Amazon, you can actually use a tea bag. If you cut a tea bag, remove the tea, obviously, you can actually use that to practice. Cut it into the shape and do everything that I'm gonna do in the tutorial the same exact way using a tea bag. So that was also something they did do back in the day. After paper, they did discover that they could use tea bags to kind of do the same job, and it actually held a little bit better because of that mesh material of the tea bag before fabric wraps were actually created. Guys, I just want to take this time to mention to you that I have a new nail course out. This course is amazing. It comes in 9 modules that you'll be able to get over 100 slides in each lecture. You're going to get a demo video that comes with that, explaining everything and showing you what exactly you need to do. And the whole entire course comes with a companion workbook. Yeah, so you get a workbook. I'm giving you review questions to answer. I'm giving you real life salon scenarios and some practice prompts so you can take into action and practice exactly what I just lectured you on and what I just demoed you on. And I even threw in a certificate that you can fill out and you can hang up and show everybody that I took this course. So again, we're getting over 100 lecture slides, a full 45 plus page workbook. You're getting 7 nail tutorial videos and a certificate of completion. So I have it linked down below. You can go ahead and get that. I'm giving you a special discount code so you can go ahead and save 10% on your purchase. So again, it's in the link down below. So what are some of the supplies that you're going to be needing if you wanted to dabble into nail wrap? So I have this on my Amazon storefront underneath State materials for the wrap systems or sections of the State exam. The link is always in the description below. You can just get this nice little kit. This is exactly what we use in school. This is State approved. It comes with every single thing that you need in order if you're watching this video for State or just for general education purposes. This is an excellent kit that's going to come with everything you need. It's by Cuccio and it is the Pro Fiberglass Advanced Kit. There's one that's small like this, and then there is another one that's bigger that just comes with nail tips, whichever one. If you don't need the tips, stick with the smaller one. So what comes in this? What do we need in order to do nail wraps? So the first thing we're gonna need is, the nail wraps. So you're gonna get fiberglass and you're gonna get silk in those. You can use these interchangeably. You can use one over the other. I find that when for State Board, obviously we're doing one silk, one fiberglass. If you are doing this for fun or on a client, then I would say just go with the fiberglass, because again, this is the one that is the least opaque, that's the most current, that is the most strongest, and the best newest wrap out. So I would stick with fiberglass for any type of client work, repairs, and all that stuff. The next thing you're going to need is a couple little pieces of plastic. If you have a Ziploc bag, you can cut that. If you have paraffin bags, you can cut that. Saran wrap is a little thin, you know, you want it to have a little bit of weight to it. So again, a sandwich bag or something like that is going to be the best bet. That's usually what we do in school. So just cut out 2 little squares. We want one for each nail that we're going to do. Technically, it's unsanitary to use the same piece of plastic on each nail. We have to use a different piece of plastic per nail. So that's very important. Again, what you do in your own nail space is your own business, but State Board, we got to have 2 different pieces, okay? Next thing we're going to need is our activator, our resin activator. So again, I know I'm mentioning State Board a lot. That's a whole, State Board is another beast that you need to tackle. I have a whole separate video on how the state wants you to do nail wraps. This video is for you as a nail technician to work on your clients. So what we do is, whether you're using the silk or the fiberglass, how we set our resin is we spray activator. So once it comes with the little pump, and you just take this cap off and put it on. So you just take this cap and you put it inside, and then it ends up looking like this, and you spray, and I'll show you how and when you use the resin activator. And on that note, we need resin. So resin, this is it says fiberglass resin because again, we tend to use resin more with fiberglass, and when you hear about nail wraps, we're most likely talking about fiberglass. Keep that in mind. So even though it says fiberglass resin, you can use this on silk. If you came across some linen, you can use this for linen, that's fine. However, you are to use resin when building and doing everything that I'm going to show you in this video. Again, I'll just say State Board one more time, I promise. For State Board, we can do the silk with glue, and we do resin for fiberglass. Real life, we use resin for everything. What is the difference, students, between resin and nail glue? I'll give you time to think about it. Did you guess? They are the same thing. So they are both part of the cyanoacrylate family, which is basically your family of glues. It is still glue. The only difference is what? The viscosity. Nail glue has a thin viscosity that we can use to apply our nail tips to. If you wanted to use it for silk wrap, you can, but what's gonna happen? They're gonna break immediately because it's not thick enough. Resin, if you ever see, or you'll see in a few seconds, that or you'll see in a bit when I show you, it is thicker. It has a thicker viscosity. So between using this, activating it and drying it, this dries this immediately, you're going to be able to build nails. And a lot of the times the girls are so surprised in school. They're like, Miss Keisha, this is actually pretty durable. You have those, and then you have those that are like, oh my goodness, Miss Keisha, I'm on like my 5th layer and it's still not thick enough. And I always tell them, you know, nail wraps aren't for long nails. We're not doing 4XL nails with nail wraps. One, you can, you're just gonna be there forever with so much product and resin and glue and building and building and building and building. So this is why I say for natural nail repairs, because it's just gonna make your life a lot easier. Or if somebody's nails were short, maybe my length, that's kind of as long as I would deal with nail wrap stuff when it comes to natural nails. So it does actually build up the nail very well, very thick, very durable. I'll show you a side view and you can see how thick it is when we're done doing the repair. So these are some of the basic supplies that you're gonna need that again come into this kit. As an option, you can get a nozzle. I don't have it. It does come in this kit, both kits, as I mentioned. I don't have any because I think I pulled it to use it for something else, but it's just a little nozzle that you would put onto the top of this, and it makes an extent, like a little tube. We all know what a nozzle is, let's be serious. So it helps you get a little bit more precise. If I can find the nozzle by the time I shoot this tutorial, I will have it. If not, I'm gonna just be working out of this. I'm a little bit more experienced. I have a little bit more control. So definitely, if you are starting to play with this for state board, definitely you want to use a nozzle because it's gonna help it flow out into more of a thinner. It basically makes the tip look like nail glue. So basically this is a nozzle. Imagine putting this cap onto this so it comes out precise. I always say cut your glue at an angle so it comes out one way versus the whole entire hole. You'll be good to go. So I always recommend using it for that. So other than that, you're going to need a nail file. You're going to need a 240 nail file, not a 180, not 100, not 80, definitely none of those. It's super thin. When I say gel files nicely, nail wraps, you need to file minimally. 240 is it. It is super easy to file. It's very fine, and you can file through that wrap and the resin layers very easily. So you want to be very careful. You want to be light-handed when you're filing. I will show you again, and just very minimal. We will also need some basic tools. So we have our cuticle pusher, our nail nipper, anything that you're going to use for your natural nail prep. Again, nail prep is always the same across the board. Get rid of the cuticle, push everything back, make a clean, dry nail plate, all that stuff. Your typical nail plate stuff. Another additional tool that you're going to need is scissors. So we have fabric scissors. Scissors can be different. These are the fabric scissors that I use. They have a little slant to them. Some people find the slant a little annoying. I've learned to work with these. You can buy them straight because when you cut your fabric, it will cut slanted because these are slanted. If you want a straight cut or you're just practicing again, stay bored, stick with the straight. Don't make life harder for yourself. So you definitely need some little bit of fabric. You need some fabric scissors to cut the fabric into shape. And if you are buying something that is online that's already pre-cut, you don't necessarily need scissors, but I would have them anyway because sometimes you need to just make the side walls a little bit thinner than even on the pre-cuts, okay? So that is all when it comes to your basic supplies. So let's get into this application and how do we do application for nail wraps.
So the first thing you want to do is, as I tried to show you before on camera, this is going to be a close-up of what the actual silk wrap looks like. So when you buy this particular kit, you just want to cut it. Again, this is the one that has the adhesive backing, but you can see how closely knit the fabric wrap is. And then for the fiberglass, it is a little bit more of a looser type of weave. So when you cut that open, you can kind of see the difference. And I always recommend, like I said before, just writing on the back of it until you get a little bit familiar with the two different types of wraps. So now I just want to cut a little piece of fabric just so you can see really up close the difference with these fabrics. So you just want to take your tweezers and kind of pick it off, but you can see how thin this is. Like you can see how mesh that the actual fiberglass is. And then if we do the same with the silk, you'll see that it is a little bit thicker. So you can see why using silk, you might still be able to see the fabric underneath your application. Whereas with the fiberglass, it almost basically 95% of it will disappear once you put the resin on. So to begin, let's take our scissors and we're going to cut a little triangle. You want to just hold the wrap up to the nail to make sure that you have it from left to right. You want to kind of just guesstimate this, cut the best of your ability, and then resize it again. Then we're going to cut the cuticle shape of the nail, and again, measure it always to it. Then I'm going to take my tweezers, remove that corner. Remember, that corner is going to end up getting cut off, so it doesn't matter if you mess it up. That's the only way to remove the backing properly. So we're going to just place it on to the nail. So the thing with nail wraps is you want to give it a little bit of space by the cuticle and on the side wall, 1/8 of an inch to be exact. You want to give the nail plate a little bit of room to grow. So just so you see what is 1/8 of an inch, basically a snippet. Once you put the wrap on, if you still feel that you need to release a little bit of fabric from the side walls or by the cuticle, you can go right ahead and cut it. It's not a big deal. If you need to redo it, no big deal. Once we have it, I'm going to take my plastic, just make sure that I am firmly pressing down. I don't want to, in case I have any glue or oils on my nail, I don't want to put that onto the actual wrap. Then I'm going to take my resin and just lightly, kind of like gel, float it over to cover the whole nail. If I had a nozzle, like I said to you guys earlier, if I had a nozzle, I would have used a nozzle. And then I'm just going to spray. You want to give it like 2 to 3 sprays and let that hang out for a second. So now with this strip, we're going to make it the same type of little rectangle, but a little bit thinner, because this is going to actually be our stress strip. That's what we call it, a stress strip. But basically, we're going to be placing this extra piece of fabric to kind of give us more structure in the wrap. Similar to an apex when you're doing acrylic application, but in wraps they call it this. So I'm going to place a little piece of fabric wrap left to right. I'm going to add more resin. I'm going to spray it. And then we're going to cut all the stuff on the ends off. I feel that once it's all hardened and everything, it's just so much easier to do that. And then we're going to rinse and repeat. Resin spray as much as you need until you can build that nail up. There is no correct amount of layers I can tell you that you'll need. You can see from here it is building up a little bit. This is if this was an actual nail, this would be a little bit on the shorter side. So, you know, I don't need a whole bunch, but the longer, that means more resin you're gonna have to do. And make sure you're wiping off that resin tip just before you put the cap back on, or it will get stuck, guarantee you. So now just file again very lightly. I'm going to just file it. I don't want to file into that. So what I'm pointing at here is I want to just show you guys that when you are applying your resin, you will see that you're going to get uneven. The whole purpose of filing this fabric wraps is we just want to file it so it's even. So once I'm filing with my file straight down, if I see that every area is scuffed, that means that my file is hitting every area evenly. The fact that I still see shiny parts, that means that there is an area that is not even with the rest of the nail. So that's all we're basically filing with wraps. A 240 file to get it nice and even, then we're buffing it out. Very simple and straightforward. Once that's done, I'm just going to wipe it off so you can see it. And you see how you can still see a little bit of the wrap, but nothing crazy. You can see from the side, that little stress strip gave it just a little something. And that is how we complete a fabric wrap application.
So now that I showed you exactly how you can do nail wrap application, let's talk about these repairs. How do we deal with repairs? So we have 2 different types of repairs that your client might come in with that I love to use nail wraps for. So one is if their nail breaks really low. I'm talking like low, like sometimes I can't even cut it. It's all the way down here on the near the sidewall on the edge, and you can't cut it. So nail wraps are so easy for that. one layer, a little bit of resin, a little bit of glue. It'll patch that right up, do your gel manicure. And the thing I love about nail wraps versus gel and acrylic for this type of repair is that when they soak off that gel or you drill it off, the wrap will come off so easy. It's very lightweight. It's not damaging to the nail. So I love that. Love using nail wraps for that.
Okay, let's take a look at this repair. So let's say we have a client that has nail plate and it's cracked. Boom. So let's take a little bit of regular glue first. I always just like to do this just so I'm not working with like kind of a hangnail. It's not going to rip through my fabric or anything like that. So I just like to glue it and try to get that nail in place. So remember that stress strip that we created with the last application? We're going to do the same thing. We don't need a whole piece of fabric on the entire nail. Can you? Sure. Do you have to? No. I'm going to cut a little thin strip, just like I did with that stress strip. I'm going to place it right across the nail, and then I'm going to add a little bit of resin and spray that to dry it. The thing is, by placing the resin on the entire nail, that's what's gonna give it a nice even appearance, so you don't really have to worry about putting that fabric wrap on the whole nail. The main point of this is to just patch up the broken area. That's all we're trying to do in this scenario. So now once that dries, again, I'm gonna just cut it off because I feel that that's easier at this point. And then I'm gonna just file very lightly, very gently, that nail and buff it and do everything the same like I did before. Make sure it's smooth and evened up. So once she's buffed and everything, it's hard to see on camera, but I'm trying to put my nail under it so you guys can see on camera, like it's not moving. That's where the bend was. It's not bent. It's gonna hold. And remember, in this scenario, you'll be putting gel polish on the client right after, so that's gonna give it extra durability.
The second way that I want to talk to you about is doing an extension. So let's say you have a client again that's missing a little bit of the free edge, and let's just play with the scenario where they're allergic to gel and they're allergic to acrylic. Who wants to have one nail looking slanted? How can we use nail wraps and the fabric to create a little bit of that free edge?
So now we have a client that walked in, she wants a gel manicure, and now the corner is missing. How do we fix this? So this one, we're gonna cut that strip. We're gonna do back to our basic application. I'm gonna cover the entire nail with the nail wrap. So I'm gonna cut it, make sure that it is cut by the cuticle. The only thing is with this, we don't necessarily need to worry about it being 1/8 of an inch off the side of the nail, of the side that we are going to repair, because we need it to kind of hang over, because we're going to create that side. It's going to finish off that side wall. So once I put it on the whole entire nail, I just want to press down, make it nice even. And you see I'm kind of almost cupping it because I want that fabric to kind of shape, like give it a little C curve by pressing it. So now I'm going to put the resin on, and then I'm going to activate it. I'm going to make sure I'm really getting resin onto that corner that I need it to kind of create for me, and then I'm going to spray and dry it. Also being very careful, you can kind of just use your tweezers as it's starting to set, just kind of pushing it, again trying to create that C curve, because you can't really touch it. It's very, like, it's glue, so it's going to be like a mess. So you got to be very careful if you want to try to do this. You don't have to do this, that's optional. You can just file it afterwards if you're more comfortable with that, but I like to just do it to help me out. So once it is completely dried, now I'm going to cut it, and now we see it gave me that corner. So be mindful. Now we're going to treat this piece of fabric on the corner like it's a nail. Give me extra durability. I'm going to put another layer of resin and spray that. Once that's dry, I'm going to file, buff, and everything like I normally do. just be super careful when you're filing that free edge, because again, you did all this work, and what we don't want to do is just ruin it after all of that. So when you are filing and buffing, just be very delicate with this. So we see now we have a nice corner. Let me just clear it off for you so you can see it, and you can see on camera that's where the tear was, and now she has a nice free edge. And again, we would go in with our gel polish application to complete the look.
So now that we've discussed everything you need to know about nail wraps, yes, it's not the most poppin' trending thing that you're gonna have. So yes, it's old school. I know that maybe I'm showing my age, but still, a true professional nail technician needs to know all types of skills. You need to know how to pull all types of stuff out your back pocket when it comes to dealing with clients and repairs and all these things. So let me know in the comments below, have you ever used nail wraps in the salon before? And I'm not talking about your stapler, because once we're done with stapler, most people throw this stuff out. They don't think about it again. So do you have any experience with nail wraps? What is your thoughts on nail wraps? Are you interested in nail wraps? Did this video intrigue you a little bit to make you maybe want to purchase a little kit and offer it, especially if you are a natural nail technician? Leave me a comment down below if the answer is yes to any of those questions. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Do not forget to hit subscribe, and I will see you next time, guys. Thank you for watching. Bye.